Hey, how are you, everybody? It's Felt again, coming back at you with more Final Fantasy XIV. This is gonna be a more chill, laid-back video. I'm currently just chilling outside my free company house. Shout out to my nice free company for their wonderful decorations and stuff. But we're gonna be talking about Monk. And now this is a scripted but live video, so forgive me if I have to go back on what I'm talking about and re-say a few things, but hopefully my ideas come across quite well. So first things first, we are in patch 5.4. This is post-Monk rework, and as you can see, there's an entire gauge missing. There's no more Grease Lightning. Grease Lightning is now an intrinsic trait to the job. Changing the way the job plays from 1 to 40 several times, getting all the way up to what used to be Grease Lightning 3 at level 40. And then at level 76, in place of Fists of Wind doing its thing, Enhanced Grease Lightning 3 now exists. So in place of giving you an extra stack, it just makes you better overall. Which does put us back to a time where now Fists of Wind and Fists of Earth are kind of worthless, and it's just Fists of Fire again. Overall, the kit's pretty similar. It did kind of kill one of the high skill speed rotations. You used to have a rotation where you would hit True Strike twice within each Twin Snakes window. That rotation is like totally dead in the water now. Like just completely DOA. It's now a more strict rotation in that every other time you are alternating between True Strike and Twin Snakes, and every third time you will be reapplying Demolish. So the rotation's kind of simplified itself a little bit. You don't have to think, okay, I'm double True Striking every rotation now. Which kind of made Twin Snakes and Demolish line up, but not always, because sometimes you'd have downtime. But overall I think it's a pretty decent change to the way the skill speed works. Now, Brotherhood. Oh boy, let's talk about Brotherhood really fast. Now, Brotherhood got a massive buff, in my opinion, in place of dealing... pardon me, giving an increase to physical damage dealt, it is now an increase to all damage dealt. So in place of now, like, more or less depending on a heavy physical comp, but you still didn't help your healers or casters if you had them, now it helps everybody. I do kind of hope the Red Mage gets the same treatment in the future, because Embolden is now the only odd duck in that boat where it only buffs physical, but who knows? Who knows what they have planned? There was also a change to Deep Meditation here. If you see in the bottom right, that's where my tooltips have been popping up this whole video. That's where my tooltips typically pop up when I'm hovering. Now you will guarantee an open chakra on a crit, which is chef's kiss, so good. Because you have guaranteed crits on Boost Shine if you had the Lead Fist buff from Dragon Kick. So now you're basically guaranteed at least one chakra every rotation that you go through your 1, 2, 3. And you could get 3 in a row if you crit every time. It also really like promotes the idea of Monk going heavily into crit like they always have. But even more so, you're even rewarded even more now. So it's nice that your like gearing and skill tiering is getting rewarded even more so. Oh, I forgot to even mention this though. About Brotherhood, I apologize. Brotherhood used to be a 30% chance on weapon skill that you would get a free chakra from your teammates. Now it is a 20% chance, but is on weapon skill or spellcast as well. So in other words, Brotherhood is doubly buffed, once for the party and once for the monk themselves. It gives you more chakras on average, from what I have heard. Not, guaranteed more chakras, but on average, you'll typically get more because, if nothing else, you're affecting the healers. And that's 2 more people that are giving you a 20% chance, whereas before, you would never get anything from the healers. There was a 0% chance of getting anything from them. So overall, Brotherhood, much, much stronger skill, both for Monk and for a party. Something that I really like about these change to Grease Lightning is that, like, if you're learning the job and you're messing up your rotation because of just learning, and before you had a very real chance of just letting your buff drop. Like you would just have Grease Lightning just die and be completely gone, but now that's not a thing anymore. Okay, Riddle of Fire, totally the same. Perfect Balance now just gives 6 stacks of basically you can use whatever skill you want, which in other words means you're using it for a Dragon Kick and a Boot Shine spam back and forth, back and forth, back and forth 6 times. Which is super nice for your burst windows. And when I show the opener in a minute, which no guarantees that I won't mess up once or twice, but when I show off the opener, you'll see. In fact, why don't we just start with that now? Because it also lets me talk about the change to Form Shift. Form Shift now doesn't shift you through your forms, it just gives you Formless Fist as a buff. Which is, you know, more or less the same thing as Perfect Balance here. So that's pretty nice. But it leads to something being a little weird in the opener, which is where you let Twin Snakes drop off during your burst window because getting off another Dragon Kick into Boot Shine is better DPS than if you had, for example, gone for another Twin Snakes. So I don't have it pulled up to where I can pull it up on my screen, but the opener is pre-pulled. You set up Fists of Fire, you pull up your full chakras, so you have Forgotten Chakra ready to go. You basically spam Fist pre-pull, Shoulder Tackle, Dragon Kick, you pop a pot, Twin Snakes, Riddle of Fire, Demolish, Forbidden Chakra, Boot Shine, Perfect Balance, and then you go into Dragon Kick, and then you hit Brotherhood, and then it's back and forth, Dragon Kick and Boot Shine, weaving in Elixir Field and Tornado Kick, until the buff from Perfect Balance wears off, and then you go into your standard rotations. I'm going to try and do that now, no promises I won't screw it up. Bam. 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 And there we go. So I didn't actually screw it up. Look at me go. Going back and forth on the spam, and as you can see, Twin Snakes is dropping off right here at the end. But you just kind of go back into your standard rotation right at the end, and if you do it just right, you do get your last Demolish in underneath the final bits of your Brotherhood and Riddle of Fire. But as you can see, like, there's no chance at all that I could do a double Twin Strike rotation anymore. Because you see right here, I'm about to come back to where you would normally do that second Twin Strikes, and you only have 5 seconds left. You have nowhere near enough time. Ooh, PogChamp, I got stuff selling in the markets. But yeah, that's the new opener, and that's literally the exact same thing you'll do for your burst window as well. When you come back around, you'll pop Riddle of Fire, hit some GCDs, pop Perfect Balance to get into your Dragon Kick Boot Shine spam, then pop Brotherhood while that's going on, hit Tornado Kick and Elixir Field, and anytime you get a full Forbidden Chakra, you will use it. It's not truly that different from the way it used to work, but it feels more structured. Because of the fact that there is only the 6 GCDs under Perfect Balance in place of 10 seconds, you now have a set number of GCDs you're getting off and not rushing to fit in stuff in 10 seconds as fast as you can. Which does mean that skill speeds are now, you hit a certain point that is comfy and not a certain point that hits you easily hitting all the GCDs you need during Perfect Balance, which is nice. I really liked it. Let's talk about the general feel of the job now, but, I mean, as you can see, it hasn't changed that much. The biggest change is just that when you start your rotation, you already have that 1.96 GCD. Like, you start it up, you're going, you are zooming, you are already going at, like, your capped GCD from before. There is no ramp up, you are just jumping in, and you're going crazy with your GCD already rolling it, like in my instance, 1.96. I don't even think I have very high skill tier on my current armor. I do believe... yeah, I am 798, which is actually lower than most people recommend for Monk right now. Most people are saying in the 800s range. I believe so you can get a 195 recast. So I'm technically a little bit slower, but I can already tell how fast the job is. So that's kind of what I've felt since I played Monk in this new patch. And those are kind of the things that I've been enjoying, but there's some stuff that I really don't like. Riddle of Earth, I don't know what they did. I don't know why they did it more often. It lets you get through a straight 1-2-3, so you pop Riddle of Earth, and you will always be getting, basically, the true north effect of, I'm still getting my max damage in there, even if I'm not hitting it from the proper side. You know, it's the true north effect, nullifying action, direction requirements. It does still have that you take less damage, but it's 3 charges for 6 seconds apiece, so it's really only 3 GCDs. But it's for 18 seconds total, and each charge comes back in 30 seconds. So every minute and a half, you get 18 straight seconds of no action requirements, basically. Action directional requirements. Kind of the same as the way True North is. 20 seconds of just nothing for every 90 seconds of fight time, quote unquote. Because of each charge having a 45-second recharge. It's kind of weird. I'm not really a big fan of it. Speaking of things I'm not really a big fan of, Tornado Kick feels kind of neutered. It used to have like a very odd use case scenario of you knew when the boss was leaving, you hit Tornado Kick to dump all your stacks and do a massive hit. But now it's just kind of relegated to being an OGCD that doesn't really do much, and I'm not really a huge fan of that. It does fit smoothly into your opener and rotation. And I mean, like, as you can see here, going through it as per normal. And then you hit this, you hit that, and it does kind of like flow into it pretty smoothly where you just kind of hit it inside your buff windows. And it is more or less just like a normal OGCD that you use, kind of like Elixir Field. And kind of like the Forbidden Chakra. But it kind of lacks any identity now. It went from being a very fringe case thing that didn't feel great most of the time, to now just kind of being an okay OGCD that does damage. You know, like, I'm not a huge fan of it. Same for Six-Sided Star. It kind of has the same effect that it used to have. You move super quick for a few seconds and it slows your GCD down, but like, I hit that, I run away, boss AoE goes off, dash back in, I didn't miss anything, right? I hit this, I walk away, boss AoE goes off, I dash back in, I was still waiting for my GCD to finish ticking. So it kind of has that same problem that it used to have. It, like, I don't know, it feels a little long still because it is effectively 2 full GCDs of timing that you are down. So sure, if there's some really long mechanics or you're trying to prog and learn how to safely do a thing, Six-Sided Star isn't bad, but it's still not my favorite thing. Anatman kind of got turned into totally useless. It can last for 30 seconds, cancels auto attacks, triggers cooldown upon execution, and it extends Twin Snakes. So let's say you do a mechanic, you just hit your Twin Snakes, you use this, you have to walk away for a really long time, Six-Sided Star wasn't cutting it, and then you Anatman and stand still to keep your Twin Snakes and form up? It feels worse than it did before, where before it was like, at least it kept your everything from expiring the way it was supposed to. By everything, I mean your Grease Lightning stacks, so that you could keep those up, and it was good to save if you realized you were going to lose them. You could just quickly tap a Anatman and be like, cool, I didn't lose my stacks, no damage loss, no DPS down, but now it's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of weird. But that's it. That's Monk in patch 5.4. I overall think it's a much better job now, but I also feel like it has a lot of room to grow. I don't think this is a job I'm going to be playing a lot. I've re-gearing it a little bit. I took it through like a set of the new raids, the new E9 through E12 normal, just to kind of toy around and get a feel for it, and it felt okay. Now that I have a better grasp on the opener, I might give it another shot through those to see if I can just get my hands around it a little better, but it still doesn't feel like the job for me. I feel like I'm much more of a Ninja and Dragoon player than Samurai and Monk, but that's me personally. It really also feels like they're setting this up for something big coming, because we've kind of got it simplified down to where Monk now is just a chakra gauge. Everything else is intrinsic. So they might have done that in prep for a new... Oh, I'm in a tree. I apologize. They might have done that in prep for a new buff coming in the future, where they're going to change the way it functions. Maybe they could throw like the True Strike buff on... Sorry, not True Strike. True Strike is the damage one. Twin Snakes is the buff. I told you I was doing this live. They might throw the Twin Snakes buff up here on the thing. They might add another one to where like Tornado Kick and Elixir Field have like bonus effects that they can give, and then they can throw that on the gauge. But it seems like it's set up for more changes and additions. It is a much more simplified job now, in my experience and my opinion. And it seems pretty good. Like I said, I might be giving it more shots on and off as time goes on, but overall, I still don't think it's really the job for me, despite the fact that I have enjoyed the time I've spent with it. But that's me. Play the job yourself, make your own decisions. It has a much lower skill floor, i.e. it is easier to get into now because Grease Lightning is just an intrinsic trait and you don't have to worry about upkeep. And I do think the skill ceiling is a tiny bit lower, but not by much. I think good monk players are still going to be head and shoulders above bad monk players. I still think there is room to shine in the job. People who understand the job and understand when to pop what, and when to save Brotherhood for a couple of seconds, and same for Perfect Balance to get a really big burst window off under raid buffs, those people are still going to look head and shoulders above the average player. But that's it for the video. It's a little bit longer, but I was just kind of rambling and talking. Hope you enjoyed watching. If you want to catch me live playing maybe Monk, maybe White Mage, maybe something, you can catch me on twitch.tv/felkrad0955. I've been finishing leveling up my jobs, and I very recently hit cap on all of my magical ranged DPS. I might be doing another video, similar to the tank and melee videos that I've done in the past, talking about ranged magical DPS. So, make sure you subscribe if you want to see more. Hit the like button because it lets me know I'm doing a good job. But otherwise, that is it for the video. Thanks for hanging out, and I hope to see you next time.